Hello, my name is Ortega, and today I would like to present to you my two event poster, which is focused on Dia de los Muertos, or better known as the Day of the Dead. Now, most of you know what Dia de los Muertos is, so Dia de los Muertos is a day of remembrance for our loved ones that passed away, especially for our family members. And in order to do that, we had to create altars for them. And we set altars with pictures, foods, candies, even and drinks too for them. Now, to get to the point that I'm talking about, let's look at the first event poster that I created and get to know a bit more, understanding about Dia de los Muertos. I can see this poster here is, like I said, focused on our family and traditions and are part of our culture at the Latin American cultures people. So even to get a better look at it, let's look at the typeface that I did for both the headers and the other type things. Starting with the header, I did that one in black adder, ITC, and I colored it in yellow to make it look like the moon. For the date, however, I left that one as white and did it in papyrus. For the location and activity, it's still in white, but they're done in algorithms. So starting off with the date here, the date I chose to go for is November 1st to November 3rd, where that date only ends in November 2nd, but we wanted to have a bit more longer for there for our families. For location, however, I went with Southgate Park. That place is basically the biggest place and to be found in Hunt out in Southgate, which is basically close to Huntington Park here. Even though they're both far from each other, it's a good drive right there. So now that you guys have got an idea of the typeface, the skull here I did in two different type of shapes: a rounded ellipse, and a rounded rectangle. Those two shapes fit so well, I was able to make the skull and put details to it for the eyes, the nose, the mouth, too. And then after that, I put a bit of decals on it to represent the skull from the Los Muertos. The flower, however, I chose to go with stars for it to be represented for the flowers. However, the candle here, I went with creating my own set of candles for it. One for being big, two big, one small for both the candles and the flame right there. For the sponsor, however, I went three sponsors right there. One being Jaritas, Mexico, and Bimbo. For Jarita being the most popular type, a drink being found in Mexico, it actually goes around almost like everywhere to California and maybe in Arizona. However, Bimbo is also the second largest his group be sponsored because their bread is the most delicious and can be found almost anywhere in the Pacific region. However, the biggest thing of all had to deal with the background I chose for it, or I did for it, basically being a dark blue. For the dark blue being the night sky that leads that will actually help lead I mean, let our loved ones come and visit us. Just like how the candle represents the souls of our loved one. Now that I know that, let's look at the second event poster, which is actually focused on music for Dia de los Muertos. Now, Dia de los Muertos does have been music to it too, which is basically helps the tradition continue onwards. For the header right there, I did that one in Castellar and left it and did that one in orange, just like how I did with the date right there. But the date is in centaur, along with along with the music and the location. Again, location and date are the same, being November 1st to November 3rd, and Southgate Park. And I also know you're looking at the background too. So the background for it is all white right there, which is actually focused for the better for the music note right there, being a black right there. and all wavy. After that, I did the guitar right there, with basically being a big part of music and part of our own tradition. And yes, I also noticed the brushes there, even though it's not being part of that tradition, it still helps us feel the rhythm to it. And the skull is also there too, being part of it, and still being mentioned as Dia de los Muertos. However, the biggest catch of all had to do with the orange flower I went with, called semi Siampatusi, which is only grown in Mexico and can be spread around almost anywhere, but can help lead the dead to our altars in honor of our memories of our families. For the sponsor for this group, however, I went with three different groups right there, being La Raza, Radio Latina, and 93.3 Banda, which will feature music by Banda MS and Dance Floor. Now, I know most of you feel like that you you have a lost family, but I know how you guys feel because even I lost family members too, from coming from my mother and my father's side, that group. For my mom is both her parents, being my grandparents as well, and for my dad, his mother, was also being my grandmothers as well. I miss them too so much, but I want to remember in a way that helped me see them for who they are, and so continue to remember remember how they cherished me. I hope that this two event poster helped you see the way I did, and get to remember them how fond how our own family is, even especially as part of our Latin culture too. So I would like to thank you for listening to my little post right here and re-recording for everything that you heard. So again, thank you very much for listening to me. I hope you also have a good holiday, a good memories for your family. I hope you enjoyed Dia de los Muertos, and I hope you get to enjoy the rest of the day until we pass away and be remembered as well as part of that tradition. Thank you very much.